What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic coming to you with the DraftKings Reignmakers breakdown for the Valero Texas Open. Yes, we are a week away from the Masters, but tons of money here to be won in the Reignmaker streets. So hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell as we get going. Goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. You become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Let's just get right to it, shall we? If you haven't signed up for DraftKings Reignmakers yet, you can get a free starter pack. Simply go to Reignmakers, the tab at the top. Should have a spot where you can sign up. Please get Scotty Scheffler or John Rahm. They're so expensive on the secondary market right now. Just get yourself those cards. No doubt about it. That'll make your life a lot easier. But on a week-to-week basis, PGA Tour, football not in season, UFC, I love the UFC product here. So you definitely want to check out everything that Reignmakers has to offer. We can go and shop for players, PGA Tour, because that's what we're talking about here. They're going to show you recently listed. You want to make sure your players are playing this week, that's for sure. Price low, unless you can snag like some cheaper Scotty Schefflers. So you can find the lowest priced ones there. You can search by name. You can look at the most expensive ones. Hello, Victor Hovland, Reignmakers. That would be pretty fun. Not going to lie, that'd be a lot of fun. But make sure you check out all the offerings there. But I'm primarily going to help you set up lineups every single week when I go through this. I want to help you build the best lineups you can. And one of the big names of the game this week is, do they have utility for the Masters next week? Now, it's not as crazy of a jump in terms of prize pool going to next week as what you think it might. So it really behooves you to be playing every week in, week out, use the cards for multiple gameplays. But there are a couple of cards that I've got my eye on here. And per usual, I like to go to this core single entry. I think that's a great contest to have everybody building. That's something I want you guys checking out every single week. There are a couple of other contests that they have. They have like this gated core thing that you're able to get into here. But just like in DFS, again, we're taking NFTs, we're playing them in DFS contests. It's a great merger of the two products, but there are good contests for certain types of plays. Now, the single entry, we'll talk about some of the strategy there. Right now, only 399 participants in that. It's going to be higher come tomorrow. It is Tuesday afternoon as I record this, so just want you all to know that. But this single entry for the rare contest, that's going to be an awesome one to get in. This single entry for the elite contest, this is definitely going to have very few participants. People are going for that 15K cash, as you should if you've got the absolute best possible lineup, no doubt about it. Legendary Reignmaker per usual here, but looks like they have a couple of things available. Again, this is that gated contest I was talking about. Bankroll booster there, but we're going to primarily focus on the single entry for the core and try to put together lineups that don't have to cost you a ton of money. Now, Tyrrell Hatton, I think he's understandably the most expensive player that we're looking at here this week. 2675. He's plus 1300, plus 1200 over on the DraftKings Sportsbook right now as you're looking at the odds. There's no doubt his iron play on a golf course like TPC San Antonio sets up really nicely. But I expect his card prices to go down next week when you get to that larger field. Well, not larger field. The field's larger here than what it is at the Masters, but more elite field that you're going to get at Augusta National next week. So I'm going to be on a wait and see approach perhaps with Hatton. I want to have a ton of him if people aren't, like in Reignmakers, we're still waiting for a lot of people to buy some of the booster packs. So there are opportunities to get in and buy Hatton here. But a lot of the things that I've talked myself into doing this week are going to be buying Corey Connors cards. And we're going to just do that right now. 317 seems like a really good serial number. Make sure you buy that best case serial number that you can. Looking at some of his elite rare cards. But this is a man that in the last 3 years has finished top 10 at Augusta every single year. 3 straight top 10s at Augusta National. That, my friends, is called utility. So I just bought him. We're going to add him to my lineup. He is going to be my captain. I think he's going to be my captain for a lot of the lineups that I make this week. Again, I'm going to be purchasing. I already built a bunch of these, so I don't have all of my golfers, like my Hattons, in play. Let's grab, it was Corey Connors who I just bought. So we're going to click on him. The next portion of this, again, you're trying to find the best available golfers, but Taylor Montgomery going for quite a bit. I don't find him to be all that intriguing when you talk about his price point right now. Plus, not guaranteed to be into the Masters next week. saying, you got to win this golf tournament. Good luck to you. Think other people are trying to get there too. But there is one player, Aaron Rai is somebody that I don't really care that they wouldn't tee it up next week unless they didn't win, because I think he's going to have utility in golf tournaments like the Barbasol. We just got done with the Corrales. He didn't play in that one because, he was able to play match play. But Aaron Rai, $5.80 for him right now. Feel like that's a pretty good buy. Matt Kuchar, also not in the Masters as of right now. So just want to throw it out there. Lots of players. Davis Riley kind of goes in that category. Matt Wallace, despite winning last week, does not get that invitation to the Masters. But you know who does? Sepp Straka. And I'm a little bit surprised to see his addition starting down at like $4.60 for this core contest. But such is life. I think right now, 2 cards that are listed underneath 512, maybe I could wait. But I'm trying to make content for the people. I'm trying to make something that has some utility. Sepp Straka is in the Masters next week. And when you start talking about a field that has under 100 players, like you're going to get at the Masters, and you get those, Larry Mize, Mike Weir, Fred Couples types that just have no chance to make a cut, or if they do, they're just not going to be in contention. 10 years ago, maybe Fred Couples, and we've seen him have flashes, but otherwise, I think Sepp Straka is just a card that I don't think people understand has enough utility, considering he's going to be in that Masters. Is he somebody you want to pair with all of your studs next week? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form, but I think he's got some utility. Just like Chris Kirk, considering he won the Honda, is in at the Masters. That's why we're seeing this edition priced up. We're talking four times less. Sorry, itchy nose there. 4 times less here for Sepp Straka than we have for Chris Kirk. A little bit surprising to me. That's for darn sure. But those are 2 players. Again, wanted to talk about Masters utility for this week. Let's round out this lineup. Beau Hossler, again, not my favorite play, but he's a card that I have right now. He's kind of a placeholder. Again, I made my main team, if you will, already. It has Hatton, so there is that. Wanted to throw it out there. But as we're going down the line here, talked about Aaron Rai. Wouldn't be so mad about adding that. I've got a Griot rare. We'll see if there's any utility for me there in that this week. But Garrick Higo, somebody that I don't think a lot of people are going to be clicking on either. And we've seen the driver come alive for him of late. I think that there's a lot of deep flyers that we can take. I think Eric Van Rooyen, EVR, sitting at 315, can flash upside. But this is a player that I've bought a number of cards of. I'm going to actually sit and wait and see if somebody wants to post it less than 360. But David Lingmerth has started to show some form at the Valero. We definitely saw it at the Players' Championship, where he got himself into the mix a little bit there. Really nice to see his form at GOAT, somebody that I play a lot here as well. A lot of different options that you have on the deeper end, but this is the guy I was waiting to scroll down to. Tyler Duncan sitting at $2.84, a lot of $3 ones. And again, I don't think a lot of people are going to be duplicating, so I'm not too worried about the serial number when it comes down to this, especially because I have Connors. He will be somebody that people play in the captain, that's for sure. He's not going to be unowned there, but Hatton's for sure going to be the premier player, considering he has the shortest odds. And I am in love with Tyler Duncan. He has 2/3 this year, given one Corrales, weaker field. Just Tyler Duncan. I think he's just coming in undervalued as a card as it is. So I think that that's a good piece to be adding. Again, I had my Beau Hossler piece. Feels pretty good. Let's round this out. Again, this is not me building the best lineup. This is me building a lineup that I think has value. Sepp Straka, utility next week. Tyler Duncan, a player that I just think is undervalued compared to some of the other players in his range. As much as I love Aaron Rai, $5.80 for Aaron Rai as opposed to sub $3 for a guy, or sub $4 for a guy like Tyler Duncan. Pretty easy for me to make that case, making that purchase. So again, we're looking for some utility going forward. There's going to be some of these weaker events to play in. And speaking of which, Trey Mullinax, Bomber, sitting sub $2. Think that he makes sense as a pretty nice ad. And we have free projections going for you guys over at Stokastic. Make sure you go and check those out. Underneath the Reignmakers tab there. Maybe they're not free. I think they might actually be behind the paywall right now, but looking at introducing those to help you make good decisions when it comes to player cards. But the last player that I want to add, and I haven't gotten to him yet, it's not Callum Tarrant. I already have him. That's not really what I was looking for. How about a little Troy Merritt in your life? And I have a number 66 edition serial number. Again, nobody's going to be playing Troy Merritt this week, but This is at least a player that when you talk about iron play and you talk about the kind of demands that TPC San Antonio has, Troy Merritt does fit the bill in a way that little bit undervalued at the moment. Sub $2. Again, you're able to build this. This whole lineup cost less than $30 as I build it out. He's been in terrible form, horrible form, no good, very bad form. But he's still a lot better than a lot of the players in that range. So somebody that you could at least have your eye on. But I should finish out with a good golfer, right? Somebody that I actually like for this week. I think that would be probably a nice thing for me to do. Again, we're just kind of going through some of these players. The David Lingmerth one really does stand out to me. I like the positive leverage that we're getting for DFS purposes on Austin Eckroat at the moment, but that could very well change between now and Wednesday. And when we're talking player cards, we're looking for the best possible players a lot of the time. And of course, we're looking for values as well. That's where Doug Gim is going to be the last guy in for this lineup. $1.60 being the prevailing number. UT guy. Lots of UT guys in the field here in San Antonio. It's nowhere near Dallas to my understanding, but or to Austin. Maybe it's close to Austin. I'm not positive. But Doug Gim, somebody that can be a ball striker from time to time off the tee. He's a little bit more positive in this. 27th at the Valspar, 16th at the Corrales. We're starting to see a little bit of form. First time in a while. He lost strokes putting at the Valspar. I didn't see anything at the Corrales because, again, we don't have stroke skiing data from it. But for $1.60, you could do a lot worse than rounding out a lineup with somebody that has some utility also in some of those weaker field events. So, Doug Gim, welcome to the club. We're going to play this lineup and see how it does over the course of this single entry. Again, I might be switching out a couple of these like Bo Hustler. I don't know if I necessarily need that. But Straka, think utility for next week. Hideki, obviously is there. Siwoo Kim, Chris Kirk because of the win. Lots of guys that have utility for next week at the Masters. In addition to this week, Brandon Wu. Should have finished it out with him, but I already used him in my main lineup. So there you go. That is your Reignmakers first look here at the Valero Texas Open. Be on the lookout. People are posting cards all the time. We're going to hit submit on this lineup here too while we're at it. Again, under $30 for that entire lineup. Under $30. It's pretty good stuff for under $30. And these cards can be used the entire year. So it's not like I just paid $30 for a lineup this week, even though in that single entry, 404, we'll see if it gets up over 1,000. I bet it does. But either way, 1K to first, pretty good ROI, pretty great contest to jump in. Make sure you play those single entries every single week. And if you haven't gotten your starter pack, do that as well right now. You can get that in the video description box below. You can get it in the top tab. Get booster packs. Be able to add to that for $20 if you want to see what you can get. Maybe you get a Rom or a Scheffler. Those would be fun things, especially the rare ones. They're pricey, so definitely good stuff to be checking out in the Reignmakers DraftKings streets. Until next week, when I'm covering the Masters, can't wait. I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck.